Good morning, North Texas. You found the Fort Worth Roots Morning Show. Happy 23rd of June. I got James here with me. Good morning, James.
Howdy, good morning.
This is the morning show where we do a 20-minute segment with a centric look on Fort Worth, Texas, and moving outwards, just getting you a little bit of news, weather, and a few other segments like This Day in History and National Day of. If you've ever got anything you want to promote, we are here for you. That is the entire point of the Fort Worth Roots Morning Show. You can leave us an audio recording on our Instagram DMs. Just talking about your event, and we'll play it on the show. You can also send us an email, media@fortworthroots.com, with an MP3 file with your audio recording. I'm saying a lot this morning. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right.
I don't know what's going on.
It's early.
It's Monday.
Yeah.
Happy Monday, everybody. All right, let's get into this weather. Oh, the email's media@fortworthroots.com. I don't know if I said that. Okay. Today, 94 for a high, 75 for a low. Tuesday, 95, 74 for a low. This is a really boring weather report. Let's get through it. Wednesday, 93 and 74 for a low. Thursday, 94, 76 for a low. Friday, 96, 77 for a low. Saturday, 98, 77 for a low. Sunday, 98, 77 for a low. Okay. And next week is looking a lot like that with maybe a slight chance of rain. Looks like next Sunday we have a chance of hitting triple digits. So we will keep you up to date with that. James, how was your weekend, man?
It was fantastic. I went camping, got a sunburn.
Where'd you go camping at?
It was Mineral Wells State Park. Got a beautiful lake out there. Went, did some midnight fishing. It was awesome. Yeah, good old time.
Big fan of state parks, and Mineral Wells is definitely one not to be slept on. That's a great little spot. You've got some rock climbing. You've got lots of great trails. There's a little lake out there. It's beautiful.
Plenty to do.
Do you have your Texas State Park passport?
I don't. I need one.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like the whole, yeah.
Yeah. So for people out there that don't know, you can get a passport, and it's not like an actual passport, but what it is you go to each one of the state parks in Texas and they'll stamp it for you with the date, and you can leave little notes like I was with so and so on this date. And anyway, I got a bunch of stamps. I'm pretty proud of it.
There you go.
That's just a way to get people engaged with in my opinion, some pretty incredible state parks. Stay tuned for more information on that. Okay, National Day of. It's National Porridge Day. Nothing turns my stomach quite like the word porridge or pudding. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan. National Pollinator Week. I'm clicking on it. So we have a garden, and we found out. So we grew these big, beautiful ears of corn, and so we took those off the stalk. We brought them inside, and we shuck them. Mm-hmm. You get the outside skin off, and we were so disappointed because inside of each one of these, after we shucked them, there's little bitty kernels of corn. Kind of sporadically. It looks sick. We're not using any fertilizer, GMO, anything like that, so we're getting what nature gives us.
Yeah.
And apparently, if you don't properly pollinate your corn, that's exactly what will happen. You'll just have these sporadic little pieces of corn.
Oh yeah, get some flowers out there.
Yeah. Well, we got lots of flowers, but what we found is it depends on how you stagger them.
Oh, really?
We've got them running the wrong way. We need them kind of side by side so that the wind can self-pollinate the corn.
Yeah, science.
Science. Anyway, National Pollinator Week is an annual event celebrated all over the world in the last full week in June. From June 23rd to 29 this year, the event was started in support of pollinator health. Pollinators are insects and small animals like birds, butterflies, and bees. Hold on a minute. Pump the brakes. It says insects and small animals like, and then it lists butterflies and bees. Is it just not supposed to be written that way? Is that a typo? Or do people consider butterflies and bees as animals?
Right. I mean, I think animals are a blanket term and insects fall under those, but why would you divide the two?
It's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, they pollinate plants and make our gardens and world greener. During this week, nature lovers and conscious citizens come together to celebrate pollinators and raise awareness about different ways in which they can be protected. Okie dokie. Let's move on. Let's see. Let's just make sure there's not some other excellent National Day of real quick. Columbia Corpus Christi holiday, International Olympic Day, International Widows Day. That's a weird one. Let It Go Day. You want to sing the song?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Too early.
National Hydration Day. I feel like that's a good one. I saw this kid look like he was probably getting ready to join the Air Force or something. He's just been rucking up and down the streets of Sampson Park and River Oaks, and I've just been seeing him randomly past few weeks, just out there rucking.
Oh yeah.
And I stopped him yesterday. This was Saturday. I was loading up the U-Haul at the old studio, and he comes walking by with a big old ruck on. I go, "Hey man, have you been drinking water?" And he goes, "Yes," because I was gonna give him a bottle of water. But you got to be drinking water, and you got to drink it before you get thirsty.
Stay hydrated.
Don't die. Okay, this day in history. Where to go? There it is. Texas Day by Day, tshaonline.org. See if it has the credits for who wrote this. It does not. On this day in 1931, Texas native Wiley Post and Harold Gatty took off in an attempt to fly around the world. Post, born at Corinth in Van Zant County, was one of the best-known flyers in the world. He and Gatty circled the globe in 8 days, 15 hours, and 51 minutes. Their route passed through the northern latitudes and was some 15,000 miles long. 2 years later, Post beat his earlier time by more than 21 hours. He is most famous, however, for piloting the plane in which he and humorist Will Rogers died at Point Barrow, Alaska, August 15th, 1935. Okay, well, out there doing Lord's work, really.
Around the world.
Okay, here we go. FortWorthReport.org. Time for your morning news. More than $10 million awarded for street improvements in 3 Tarrant County cities. The street projects in Fort Worth, Crowley, and Richland Hills are intended to aid in transportation and safety, officials said. The projects were announced after the Regional Transportation Council, an independent policy group of the North Central Texas Council of Governments, approved $59.6 million on June 12th for 12 projects in Tarrant, Dallas, Collin, and Denton counties as part of the 2025 Transportation Alternatives Set-Aside Program for North Texas. The story does continue on FortWorthReport.org. That story is by Eric Garcia. Azle man missing on Eagle Mountain Lake, body recovered. This is by the Azle News, and they've got a paywall, so I can only read first couple of paragraphs for you guys. An Azle man is missing after going night fishing on Eagle Mountain Lake, and his body has been recovered from the lake. Reuben Fowson, I didn't say that right probably, was last seen Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning, June 10th, at Twin Points Park. His boat has since been found on the lake without him in it. In a Sunday morning press release, Tarrant Regional Water District reported that a body was found around 7 p.m. Saturday night. The statement suggests the body is likely Reuben. It was discovered near Pelican Island. That's all I can read without paying for the news. Okay. Let's see here. TexasTribune.org. This story by Kayla Gow. This is a big one. Now, I want to say this up front. I am not a regular user of this substance, nor necessarily an advocate, but I do believe that adults ought to be able to figure out their own lives without having the state leaning over their shoulder. Governor Greg Abbott vetoes THC ban, calls for regulation instead. The move, this is my favorite part, infuriated Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. That guy has been on the news saying some wild, baseless stuff, and it just drives me crazy. The powerful head of the Senate, who had called the ban among his top 5 bills of over 17 years in the legislature. Let's see here. Governor Greg Abbott on Sunday vetoed a contentious state ban on THC products, and shortly after called a special legislative session asking lawmakers to instead strictly regulate the substance, which makes way more sense. It doesn't say that, I said that. The late night action just minutes before the veto deadline keeps the Texas hemp industry alive for now, while spiking a top priority of Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Senate Bill 3 would have banned consumable hemp products that contained any THC, including Delta 8 and Delta 9. Abbott, who had remained quiet about the issue throughout the legislative session, rejects the measure amid immense political pressure, accurate, from both sides of the aisle, including from conservatives, activists typically supportive of Patrick's priorities. Anyway, the story does continue, but the short version is your favorite THC Delta 9, Delta 8 shop is, for now, still alive. So I really appreciate that, because something like 8,000 businesses in Texas opened up whenever they started allowing this due to the Texas Farm Bill or something like that. So anyway, there's a lot of businesses across Texas breathing a little easier this Monday morning. So right on. Let us know how you feel about this. We love getting feedback from you guys. You can either find us on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok and shoot us a message, and we'll read it on the show. If you've got a comment about one of the articles we read during that day's episode, or you can email us, media@fortworthroots.com. Let's see here. It's time for our good news story. We'd like to give you guys something wonderful, something beautiful every morning. Sometimes these news stories get pretty dark, right?
They can. Yeah, we need a palate cleanser.
Before I get into the palate cleanser, then I saw something this morning, and I was not able to verify it, so I don't know that it's true. Something regarding hypersonic missiles being used by Iran on Israel, but I can't find it, so that might not be true. But the bottom line is, things are getting stupid again, and I just wanted to share with everybody a thing that has stuck in my mind since I was a child. My grandmother, one day we're heading to her house, I think after Sunday school or something, and her car was sitting just above half a tank of fuel. And she pulled over and filled up the car, and I remember asking her, you had half a tank. Why did we stop? And she said, honey, you never let it go under half a tank. And that was a Depression era tactic or principle or whatever that everybody from that generation kind of followed. So, without putting our tinfoil hats on, folks, it's not a bad idea to make sure that your family is okay if the power grid goes down, if the grocery stores can't get food, because the reality of the situation is if the trucks stop for any reason, it's going to be civil unrest after just 2 to 3 days. That's how long it takes for the grocery stores to just completely clear out. Now you don't you dare go out there and buy a year's worth of toilet paper. Yeah. Okay, that's not what Fort Worth Roots is saying.
Learn that lesson after COVID. Yeah,
but it's not a bad idea to have a little bit set back just in case, just to get you through a few days.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm done. I'll get off my soapbox. Here's your Good News Network story for the day, and this one is by Good News Network. I don't like it when they do that. You need to credit the person that wrote it, even if it's like 8 people. Firefighters lift 700-pound boulder to rescue man pinned face down in frigid Alaska Creek. Rescuers describe it as an avalanche of boulders, and Kel Morris was lucky to have survived it. The 61-year-old was hiking with his wife in the Alaskan wilderness south of Anchorage last month when a single step sent a succession of rocks crashing down the terrain. I'm proud of myself for getting through that sentence without messing it up.
Good job.
Morris fell with them, and he landed. He was pinned face down in an icy creek by a 700-pound boulder. Ugh. It all came loose, and I was sliding with it. I could hear the noise that large rocks make as they're rolling over each other. I landed face down in the river, and then I felt the rock hit me in the back and pin me down. Morris' left leg and hip were pinned tightly to the rocks, but his shoulders were still above the frigid water. Other rocks kept him from getting flattened by the huge boulder, so he still had a chance. His wife, Joanne, a retired Alaska State Trooper, immediately sprung into action. Running to find a cell phone signal about 300 yards away to call 911, and emergency crews used GPS coordinates to organize a rescue attempt. Fortunately, volunteer firefighter Sam Paperman happened to be working his tourism job in a nearby helicopter and diverted to the scene after the rescue call came in. More responders arrived a few moments later, and they were just in time. The water level continued to rise in the creek, which was fed by glacier ice fields. Morris's speech was slurred, and he was fading in and out of consciousness as hypothermia set in. His wife continued to hold his head above water. Emergency crews inflated 2 airbags, typically used for vehicle extractions, to help lift the boulder off of Morris, according to a media statement from the Seward Fire Department. Excellent. Morris spent 2 days in hospital for observation, but thanks to the quick actions of his wife, a whole bunch of good fortune, and the efforts of dedicated rescue workers, he pretty much walked away from the 700-pound boulder battle relatively unscathed. It's pretty wild. The story continues a little bit further. You can get that at goodnewsnetwork.org. James, did you have a news story for us today? I think he had one prepared, and I was like, no, we talked about that a week ago.
I did have one prepared.
Sometimes you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's okay. Here, I'll share this with everybody. Last week, we had 2 businesses on Main Street, which is the street that the beautiful Azle Music and Enrichment Academy sits at. 2 local businesses had break-ins. Mm-hmm. And both of them were
middle of the day, right?
Yeah, broad daylight.
Wow.
Like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Crazy. And the second one, it got held up with the business owner and her kid in it. So it's like, golly, these people are out here just crazy.
You wouldn't think that. In Azle, middle of the day.
Exactly.
So.
Crazy. But, yep, it's a white car with black rims, and the perp is wearing an ankle monitor.
Oh.
So keep y'all's eye out.
I guess maybe the batteries are out or something.
Maybe. Yeah, he's got it rigged or something. I don't know. But, yeah, everybody keep an eye out on Main Street in Azle. Things are looking kind of weird.
Yeah. And then the story that we covered last week, James, you want to tell them about that? They might not have been listening last week.
Oh.
Well, sure. just give them the overview.
Yeah, I'll probably get the number wrong.
16 billion.
16 billion passwords. We're talking Facebook, talking Instagram, talking social media, whatever. Facebook,
everything.
Oh my goodness.
It's
everything is being leaked.
All of your passwords, account information have been leaked out. So this is a great time to update your password. It seems like this just happens every once in a while.
I think so.
You know?
They just open the gates, and then you need to change your password.
The one thing that did change about that story, I think last week we reported it was 8 billion. So that number has doubled in a week.
Yeah.
So it might double next week. Who knows?
Yep. Change them now or lose everything.
Yeah. Probably a good idea to activate 2-factor authentication, which is a thing that you have on at least all your social media, your bank account, all that, where when you type in your password, it then sends a message to your phone, and you have to accept it.
Yeah. I've got mine to where it scans my eyeball, believe it or not.
Really?
No, I don't. That'd be cool, though.
It's ridiculous, James. Why would you lie to me like that? We really appreciate having James with us as a co-host every morning. We do this bright and early for you guys. These episodes are out now by about 6:30 every morning. So hope y'all are enjoying that. I know I've had a couple people tell me that they don't listen to it until they start their drive home from work, because they're already at work by the time we release. And that's whenever we were doing it at like 8 a.m. But now you can get it at 6:30. So, and big shout out to the Azle Academy. This is where we do the morning show now, and you guys can find information on the Azle Academy at their website, theazleacademy.org. Also on social media, I believe it is the Azle Academy on everything.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, James, you want to give them just a real quick overview of what y'all do here at the Azle Academy?
Well, we do a lot of things. We got STEM programs, art programs, theater programs. We got just about every instrument you can think of: bass, drums, guitar, vocals. And we're a toolbox for your kiddo. So if you got a bored kid at home that's doing nothing but playing video games, eating junk food, bring them on by. We'll get them set up. Have them learn a thing or two. So, yeah, we got that. We're doing camps right now. We got art camp this week. I think there's like 21 students in the art camp, campers. So, big deal. And then I've got another week of drum camp coming up next month. I've only got, I think, 2 or 3 kids in that one. So, we need to get that filled up. So, if you've got a bored kid, I'm talking to you. Bring them here. I'll teach them how to play drums. We'll build our own drums. We'll freaking have a pizza party, man. Fun stuff. So come check us out.
And nothing but love and respect for all of our educators out there. But let's be honest, public school systems do not meet the bar for the level of education that your children need for their development. Yeah. You need to be doing something. If it's not the Azle Academy, then please get your children involved in something where they're going to be able to learn and further their education, and just strengthen those little pink, wet meat computers in their brain box.
Absolutely. Yeah. Invest in them. Yes.
But you should bring them to the Azle Academy, because the reason we do the morning show here is we were really impressed with their culture and the nature of their character. These guys are great, and they've got security cameras in every single room here. I thought that was a great idea, and it's important to me, not because these folks are questionable, but because it's the world that we live in. So they can log in if they're not here, right, and watch their kid play
any minute. Yes, absolutely.
That's really cool.
Safest spot in Azle.
Yeah,
come see us.
Yeah. Okay. Is that everything? I think we covered it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are only able to do this by sponsors like the Azle Academy. You can find a full list of ways to spend your money locally with people just like you, small business owners that are living and working in our community and trying to make this area a better place. You can go to fortworthroots.com and see a full list of our sponsors. If you need a landscaper, a roofer, if you need somebody to help you sell your next home, we have picked the best in our community, locally owned small businesses. That's all we got for you today. As you float through outer space on the back of a giant sea turtle, we hope that you will choose love and gratitude every chance you get. Till tomorrow, folks. Good day.